daily.
We now have Hurricane Delta in the northwestern Caribbean. No hurricane hunters have been out there, and the Hurricane Center forecaster on duty saw enough in that data to declare that maximum sustained winds have increased to 75 miles per hour. And this has been strengthening at a pretty robust rate today. But it isn't anywhere near done. And as it moves west-northwest at 8 miles an hour and starts to make that right-hand turn, it will be going near or over northeastern Yucatan, Cancun, Cozumel, and then getting into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Pressure's down to 980 millibars, so it's bottoming out, and the winds will be coming up in response. And you can see the blow-up of thunderstorms near the center. Now, the hurricane-force winds only go out about 15 miles from the center right now. So right now, the inner core is small, but as it strengthens, it will get to be a larger system. And hurricane warnings are in effect for northeast Yucatan and western Cuba. Northeast Yucatan, especially, is at significant risk for getting the direct impacts from a major hurricane late tomorrow night into early Wednesday because of the track and the expected rapid intensification tonight, tomorrow, and into tomorrow night. So that's an intermediate public advisory that they use to convey that it has become a hurricane. The track and intensity forecast is unchanged. That will get updated by 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight. But it's on track, and we should expect that it is a hurricane now, or it was going to become one really soon, because they're forecasting by this time tomorrow to be near that Cat 2-3 threshold. And when it gets near Cancun and Cozumel, late tomorrow night, early Wednesday, to be somewhere 120 miles an hour, plus or minus, hopefully not plus. I mean, when these start to go up really quickly, it's really hard to put a cap on it. And then there's not going to be much land interaction, really, over the relatively flat terrain of northeast Yucatan. It's going to be moving along, not going to spend much time over land. It gets into the southern Gulf, where the waters remain warm, wind shear remains weak, and who knows how strong it will be. Cat 3, maybe Cat 4. Can't rule out 5. But then the big question is, how much of that intensity does it hold on to as it heads toward the northern Gulf for a landfall, say, Friday night? And the winds will start to increase ahead of the landfall of the center. And it's possible that winds of tropical storm force could arrive on the northern Gulf Coast as early as, say, Thursday night. So what that means is, you back that up 2 days. That's how far in advance the hurricane watches, the storm surge watches are issued 2 days before the tropical storm conditions arrive. We could have hurricane and storm surge watches go up for portions of the northern Gulf Coast either late tomorrow night or early on Wednesday. And just about all of southern Louisiana, anybody there, similar chances of getting sustained winds of hurricane force. So because of the uncertainties in track and intensity and size, we can't pinpoint who's definitely going to get it and who's definitely not, but all of you are at risk. And the tropical storm conditions, greater than a 50-50 shot at New Orleans. I know you've had a lot of experiences in the cone this year. You don't know for sure if you're going to end up catching a break this time, but the chances are going up, guys, for a lot of places, including New Orleans that has caught some breaks, including Lake Charles that got hit, including the western Florida Panhandle that got hit. So a lot of people who've been through a lot this year are going to go through a lot more this week.
Dr. I wanted to ask you about how important observations are on Delta right now. We even had a Hurricane Hunter plane that was diverted from Gamma over to Delta. In a situation like this where the intensity is increasing so quickly, how important are the Hurricane Hunters?
Well, it's really important to have the hurricane hunters both inside the hurricane and to have that NOAA G4 jet that will hopefully get to do their circumnavigation in the environment to get a better collection of data into the models to determine the track forecast. So you need both. You need both kinds of planes, the ones that go inside the eye and the ones that fly around it, because we need to know what's going on in the inner core when something's rapidly intensifying, but we need to know what's going on in the environment to really focus in on who's going to get the landfall of the center, which we still don't know.
So, Dr. Knapp, with a function of time, we don't yet have those storm surge watches up.
Yeah.
But in your experience, with a storm that's, could be a large storm approaching from this angle towards this part of the coastline, what kind of risk is there for a storm surge threat?
Very significant, because when you consider, I think we have two general options here of what could play out. We could have a major hurricane that peaks out here and holds on to major hurricane strength at landfall in the northern Gulf Coast, or it weakens below major hurricane strength. And guys, you know what former major hurricanes in the Gulf have been like, Cat 2s, like Ike. That's not good either. So I think once you get a major hurricane into the Gulf of Mexico, which seems almost a guarantee at this point, then you've got a very dangerous situation that we got to be ready for storm surge at the coast, heavy rainfall near the coast and inland, and hurricane force and tropical storm force winds. More on Delta when we come back. This is going to be a long and dangerous week as we get ready for the landfall of a hurricane in all likelihood. Exactly where it will make landfall, we don't know those details yet, but we know that Delta, which is now a hurricane as of the 8 p.m. Eastern Time intermediate public advisory from the Hurricane Center, poses a significant and unique threat to the northern Gulf Coast. I know you've had a lot of storms this year, but this one could do something that other storms haven't, and you could end up getting wind, water, or both worse than you did in some of those previous storms. So we got to get ready. So let's break down the timing and where it's going and what the intensity is going to be, at least within the bounds of the uncertainty that we have to deal with. Max winds at 75, the pressure all the way down to 980 millibars. That pressure is really going down pretty quickly, and we are expecting rapid intensification over the next 24 hours. This is expected to be a major hurricane by tomorrow night or early Wednesday as it goes near or over northeast Yucatan. So Cancun, Cozumel, those areas could get the direct impacts from a major hurricane late tomorrow night into early Wednesday. That's where hurricane warnings are in effect, in addition to the western portions of Cuba in Pinar del Rio. Now, what about hurricane warnings or watches for the northern Gulf Coast? They're not up yet. Landfall of the center of circulation will be somewhere on the northern Gulf Coast sometime, maybe late Friday. Hard to pinpoint that, and a lot of you are at risk for that. But the weather will go downhill before that time, and it's possible that winds of tropical storm force could start arriving on portions of the northern Gulf Coast as soon as Thursday night. And so that means 2 days before that, maybe late tomorrow night or early Wednesday, hurricane watches and storm surge watches could go up for a portion of the northern Gulf Coast. And so that means we got tonight, we got Tuesday and Wednesday for sure, and then probably most or all of Thursday to get ready. So there is time to prepare, to get your supplies, find out your evacuation zone, and get ready to deal with a significant hurricane. Chances of hurricane force winds are greatest there in southern Louisiana, but we can't tell you which of those areas is most likely. You're all at risk, and tropical storm conditions are a significant risk over a large portion over the northern Gulf Coast. So here is the hurricane here in the Caribbean. Big upper level high pressure, very warm water. This is getting into the Gulf, and it is going to be a significant threat. So you're going to want to stay with us all week long here on Weather Underground. We thank you so much for watching us here tonight. We hope you're back with us tomorrow. And remember, together, we know more.